Hey everybody, Craig McCormick here from DestructivePixels.com, and if you have come to this processing from my vlog, my latest vlog, welcome. If you haven't and you've just come across this video by accident, what the hell are you doing here? But welcome. So, for those of you that don't know, I went out this afternoon. Actually, I'm recording it the evening that I took these pictures. This afternoon, I went out to try and shoot. It's an abandoned grain silo, actually, out in Pudong. It's about 45 minutes away from me, and I didn't have a whole lot of research because there isn't a whole lot of information about the place. Cut a long story short, I wasn't allowed in. I needed permits. There were stray animals. I could die. I could get rabies, all the rest of it. So I ended up walking around the area and seeing if I could find anything, and there wasn't much, but there was an abandoned port, like a port that, you know, that carries up and picks up the big metal containers that go on ships and stuff like that. There was actually, it was completely abandoned. There was machinery lying around, trucks just been abandoned, all the rest of it. It was really, really strange. But again, same thing. I tried to kind of go in, and there were security guards, and it was just, you're not going in. But there was actually a location that was near a bridge, so I could actually see into some part of the port, and this is what you're looking at here. This is a snapshot here of my Lightroom. These are all the pictures. If you're interested, that is the front of the port that I tried to take pictures of, and if you can see there, let it just load for a sec. Thanks, Lightroom. There you go. You can see the security guard there. They didn't take their eye off me for the entire time I was out shooting, so that was pretty much I was going to get cancelled out. So I ended up taking this picture here, and I've tagged it. Oh, whoa, that's too big. Okay, there we go. So let's, I'm going to start developing this picture, and I took the liberty before of, okay, let me jump back here a sec. Normally, whenever I process a picture through Lightroom, the first thing I'll do is I'll play around in the presets panel. I'll have a run through, I'll scroll over them, and I'll have a look at my navigator panel here, and I'll see which one takes my fancy. And the one that I ended up thinking that looked quite nice was one called Golden Clouds. And I actually go to this preset a lot. This is by a photographer called Nicole Young. She's an amazing food photographer. That's actually what she's most known for. But she's also a really, really good landscape photographer. And she has a whole bunch of presets and stuff on her website, including books and all the rest of it. I love these presets. I'm not sponsored by her or anything. I don't get any kickback. I just really love these presets because they're good starting points, and they're really cheap. If you want to check these out, you go to store.nicolesy.com, I think. And this is the landscape presets pack, and I always go to Golden Clouds for some reason. I like a lot of warm tones to my pictures, so I end up going for it. She does have some really cool blue. Let me see here. There is a really cool, actually, Stormy Skies kind of looks cool in some stuff. It doesn't look good on this picture, but it can also look kind of nice on some stuff. But I ended up picking Golden Clouds because I like this orange tone. It almost has like a Walking Dead kind of feel to it. I don't know if you're familiar with the Walking Dead TV show, zombies, all the rest of it, apocalypse. It kind of has an apocalyptic feel to it because it looked abandoned, and the old machinery and the tire tracks and the old building and stuff. So it kind of is cool. And I have no problem using a preset as a starting point here. That I really don't care about. It's just a starting block. And so I want to edit this picture from here because presets are a good starting point, but they're not the end all for stuff. So first thing I want to do here is I actually want to maybe, I don't know, let's have a look here. For those of you that don't know, this is the first time I'm literally processing this picture, so I'm not entirely sure where I'm going to go with it. It could go long, it could be a short one, I'm not sure, but I'm just going to play around with it so you can basically see my process from the beginning. As I said, I use presets as a starting point. If I don't find a preset that works, then I'll start playing around with it after that, but I normally jump to presets first. So the first thing I normally do with any picture is I increase blacks. Quick tip, if you ever want to find your black point for a picture, you hold down your Option or Alt key when you're in Lightroom, and that you hold down the blacks and you instantly go to white, and you can see here it just shows you what's black. And actually that's a good black point here for me. I maybe want to, yeah, I normally like increasing white and black simply because I don't want to push it too high because the sky is the brightest bit here, and if I was to take it all the way to where I get a white point, the sky just looks completely blown out. So I maybe just increase it a little bit. One thing I'm going to do is drop down my highlights quite a bit, just to bring some of that sky back. We've had really bad weather here in Shanghai. That's why it's just like a flat color, but that actually kind of adds to the tone of the picture. It's surprising, but it actually doesn't look too bad. But this bit now is quite dark. Although I like my blacks, I need to bring out some shadow detail. So let's play with the shadow slider. Okay, that's actually bringing out some stuff. That looks okay. So, okay, this picture here could do with a lot of clarity. So let's see where we go. Oh, okay, yeah, you see that? That's the before, and then just bumping up the clarity, you get that really nice contrast in it. But actually, that's maybe a little too punchy. I might drop that back a minute. Oh, actually, first thing I normally do with any picture is, I don't know why I don't have this as a preset to start with, but I always enable my profile corrections. This was shot with a 16-35. I wasn't at 16. I was probably at like 25 mil or something like that, so I didn't have a whole lot of profile correction there, as you can see. But I'm going to remove chromatic aberrations as well, simply because why would you want it? I don't understand why you would have it. Okay, so obviously by doing that preset, it added some sort of vignette stuff. So I want to reset all my sliders here. Let's go to highlight priority, and I want to bring down a vignette that instantly starts bringing some interest into the center. Midpoint, I want to play with the midpoint a little bit. Okay, that's actually right. That's not bad. Let's have a look at before and after. Okay, so that's kind of cool. It's added a, it's actually nicely darkened up the edges there. Okay, where else should I go from here? I might actually increase the exposure a touch, because it's kind of a bit too dark. Whoa, that's a bit, there you go. Oh, and those of you that don't know why my mouse is jumping around like a madman, is because I'm using a Wacom Intuos 4? 5? Not sure. The one before the Intuos Pro came out. It's the small, I like the small one. I used to use the medium, but now I like the small because it's just a little bit easier. Actually, let's take down the saturation a touch, because that's kind of, yeah, that's actually kind of cool. I like that look to it. I want to increase that clarity again. The clarity slider is like an addiction. You can't not use it. Maybe add overall contrast. What I do a lot of the times with sliders is, this is a joke I make quite often, is the key to a cool photo is play with sliders. So I normally take it to the extremes and then bring it back. Actually, that kind of looks more like Walking Dead stuff by losing that overall contrast. Interesting. I might take that contrast down just a touch. But the good thing with Lightroom is, obviously the basics panel is global adjustments. So that's the technical term for it, is global adjustments. But I'm probably going to go in at this point. Actually, I want to add some sharpening. I'm a bit of a sharpening fanatic. Let's go in on that text there, because I think that's kind of what I did focus kind of on the cab. The cab here of this truck. I focused in on that. So let's add, I like sharpening. Sharpening is like tasty. So, okay, that's a bit much. Another tip, again, is holding down the Option or Alt key, and that masking, again, it brings up a white panel, and as soon as you move the slider down to the right, the bits that are showing up as black is what's masking. Think of it as a mask for when you're in Photoshop. And actually, I did just see then, those little rings there in the middle. I don't know, I can't move anything without it not showing, but there's some rings here, which obviously means I've got some dust spots or something, so I'll take them out in a minute. Okay, so that's probably added a good chunk of noise into some areas here, so let's just do a bit of noise reduction. Lightroom's noise reduction is really, really nice, just taking out some of that noise. I'm gonna try and remove some color noise as well. Okay, there we go. So I think that's kind of, oh, I want to look at that for a sec. No, that looks okay. I might jump back on that noise reduction just a touch, because it's kind of blurring out bits a little bit. Yeah, I actually kind of like, one thing I'm going to do, it sounds stupid, but I've done noise reduction. And I think I might actually add some grain. It's going to add just a touch of texture to it. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I kind of actually like having a bit of grain here. You probably won't be able to see it unless you like zoom in big style on the video here, but I'm just adding a touch of grain just to give it a little bit more of a texture feel to it. So what's the next step here for me? The next step I usually do after I've done global adjustments is I will do dodging and burning. So let's jump over here to the adjustment brush tool, and I'm going to reset all my stuff. You reset. Another quick tip, if you double click on the effects word here, you double tap, resets all your sliders. I'm going to do kind of a low flow. That seems like a good enough size. I might drop it down just a touch. Let's do it a bit more. And I think I'm going to add some more clarity here to the ground. That's got all the I forgot the word for a second there. I'm going to add more clarity to the ground here just to bring out and pop the tire tracks here. So let's bump up my clarity. Should I darken it a little bit? Yeah, I'll darken it just a little bit. So let's see how that looks. Oh, I'm already actually liking that, and I've only just applied a little bit of it. Someone's looked like I've done donuts here. That's quite funny, I didn't notice that at the beginning. So let's darken up this ground here as well. Let's have a quick, let's see what that mask looks like. Wow, it's just all over the place. Right, okay, so that's fine. Actually, let's see what that looked like before and after. So you can see it you can see it quite well in the darker areas of the picture here. If I just turn that back on, you can see it kind of really pop. Let's add a touch more contrast. So yeah, just darkening up a bit just kind of takes your eyes attention off the ground. So obviously I've darkened up sections, so the next bit I want to do is see, that's your problem here. I was still selected on this nodule here, and I double click the effects icon and it reset all my sliders. So you want to press Command or Control C, that brings them all back. Click New, then double tap that. Double tap the effects icon. Okay, so I'm going to lower my size of my brush again, and I want to highlight more of this truck and kind of bring out more of the color in it. I might actually increase the saturation on this, so let's just bump up the exposure a touch. Saturation, I think that's about it. Let's see how I can get this going. A lot of the times with adjustment brush adjustments is that they're kind of subtle. You don't want to be too heavy-handed with this kind of stuff, because if you are becoming heavy-handed, it's almost a place for Photoshop at that point, and I try and avoid Photoshop as much as possible. Even though I love Photoshop, it's great. But if I can do everything within Lightroom, I definitely will, and I think that's actually true of a lot of people. We don't want to have to go into Photoshop unless we have to, unless it's something for heavy processing. So that looks okay. Let's quick again before and after. Yeah, okay, so it's just bringing a bit more focus in on that. So let's, yeah, okay, that looks good. Excuse me there. I want to maybe brighten that up a touch. I'm just having a look here. Overall, let's have a quick, another tip if you're in Lightroom, now that in Lightroom 5, if you just press the F key, it jumps to full screen. So actually that's always a good way just to get the panels out of the way and just look at the picture. And what I normally do is I normally sit back and have a quick look at it, and the sky still looks a little bit obvious for me. It's still the brightest thing in the picture. It doesn't need to be darkened down much, but it could be done with darkening down a little bit. And actually I think the buildings in the background could do with more, again, more clarity, or darkened up a little bit. So let's have, okay, press F key just to get back again. Again, I'm in the brush, the adjustment brush tool. So let's go again. I'm going to click again, new, double tap effects, just bring it down. I'm going to lower exposure. Might add clarity. Clarity is like magic sauce for all pictures. I think, whoa, okay. So that's obviously a bit too actually, first time I applied it, I thought it was a bit too dark, but actually it might not be. I kind of, again, as I said, the focus needs to be taken away from the building. The building is cool and everything, but it needed to be in the background. Okay, I need to lower my brush size again. Ooh, that's too small. Yeah, that's about right. Just to get here in the details in the back of the building, just to darken this stuff up a little bit. Okay, so that's actually, now that I'm looking at it, that's quite good. It's just taken away some of the focus from that building. And actually, I might add, just run over the bridge a couple of times just to darken that up just a little bit. There we go. Just kind of bring some of the attention away from that top third, I guess, and bringing it up to this bottom 2/3, just to kind of bring your focus in on that. There will be a trick that I'll do actually on that. I could use the, what do you call it, the radial filter. I don't use it that often, but I might use it on this. That could work. But again, I want to add another adjustment, and I'm going to bump up exposure again, increase my size, and I'm going to bring up the exposure here on this big yellow crane thing, and I might actually again increase the saturation on it just a little bit, just to bring some of the highlight back. Yeah, just to pop that color a little bit. Let's do a quick before and after of all my adjustment brush tools, adjustments. Okay, yeah, so you can see that's what it looked like before. It was kind of, although the tone is good, but the global adjustments were good, the tone was actually what's kind of wrong. So if I obviously turn these adjustments back on, if I actually click on, yeah, you can see it's kind of, the ground has kind of been darkened up and the trucks have been lightened up a little bit just to give more definition in what it is. Okay, so I'm on that thing. Actually, let's lower the size a little bit, and there we go. That's the right size. I want to just paint this little thing here with the same adjustments just to bring up the yellow. I might actually paint this just a touch there. Okay, so that's, we're definitely getting somewhere. But let's add a gradient. Again, I'm going to click double tap effects just to bring it down. I'm going to lower the exposure a touch, and holding down my shift key and then clicking and dragging, I'm bringing down a nice straight gradient just to darken up the sky a little bit. I think that's kind of fine actually. I just needed to darken it just a touch. That's actually just, yeah. Okay, so it's darkened up just a little bit, but that's all it really needed. It just needed a bit of darkening, just because it was still a bit too bright. I quite like having these buildings in the background. Okay, I can definitely see some dirt here. So let's, I can't remember what this tool, yeah, the spot removal tool. Okay, and I'm going to go down here to visualize spots. I love this feature. Wow, why have I got like a cluster of stuff here? I'm going to blame, go away. I'm going to blame the smog. Of course, because that's the easy thing to blame, and rather than having a filthy camera. So I'm going to increase my brush size just a bit there, and if I just tap that, it should remove it. Now let's quickly tap off visualize spots. Let's selected. That's looking okay. So there's a cluster from here, and I really don't know how I'm going to do this. The best way might be to kind of brush it and see. I like the brush feature. I don't use it all that much, but oh, actually that could have worked. Let's have a, okay, I don't want to see, okay, close. And this is me going full. I'm just going to have a quick step back from my computer here for a sec just to see. That's stupidly good. Give Lightroom credit. That was a bit of a doozy, and it just like pop gone. Amazing. I love this program. Sometimes it's really nice just to be able to do everything in one place, and the fact that it's completely non-destructive, I can just go back and edit it. Actually, at this point I'm going to click Command Save or Control Save if you're on Windows, just to save my adjustments. normally if you're using your camera's standard RAW format, basically CR2 if you're Canon, or NEF if you're Nikon, I think, that will create, if you click Command or Control Save, that will create the XMP file. But if you're like me and you use DNG, the XMP file is saved within the DNG, so you don't have an extra file. So I quite like that. If you want to know more about DNG, I do have another tutorial about DNG. I'll link it here on the screen now, and I'll also put it in the description, so you can learn more about DNG. I love DNG. I use it all the time. It's in short, it's Adobe's camera raw format that it converts NEF or CR2 files from. It's really cool. I love it. Some people don't use it, some people don't find it useful, but I quite like it. So let's move on from that point. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I wonder what would happen if I... Okay, so yeah, if I bring back my saturation to 0, it does kind of make it a bit crazy. So I'm gonna lower that saturation again back to where it was. Actually, let's bring it back a bit more. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna play around with clarity some more. Let's see what it does if I go full whack. Okay, nah, not full whack. Let's go back to where it was. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I can do after this. Again, if I'm not sure where I'm going, I'm gonna hit F again, just to pull it up full screen, have a look at it. Now, I'll admit it's not a portfolio picture, but it's kind of cool. It has a look to it. I think I'm going to just play around with it a bit more. I maybe want to darken up the buildings here in the background. They're still a bit too bright considering how dark the kind of foreground building is. That's still a little too bright. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to darken that up though, because of the haze and stuff. It might look a bit strange. I'm going to have to go 1 to... No, let's go 1 to 2. And I'll be able to just lower my exposure a touch. I'm going to try auto mask. Let's see what that does. I don't know how well this is going to do. Let's increase my flow just a bit, and I want to increase my size a little bit. And let's see, I've got it set to show me the mask, show selected mask overlay, just so I can kind of see what the auto mask function is doing here. I don't know how well it's going to... Oh, actually, it's picking up the whole building stuff quite well. Forgive me if it looks a little slow. My PC, or my laptop rather, is kind of running at full tilt at the minute. Recording the screen, recording the audio, and also trying to edit a full res picture. So that's kind of gone a bit whack on the sky there. But again, if I just go to erase, I can click auto mask and try and get rid of... That's increased my flow a lot. Sorry, that was really low. That was dumb of me. So, okay, so again, it's kind of cut off. Again, just jump back. Tiny brush. There we go. Let's... Oh, missed a bit of stuff there. Now this is... Oh, okay. I've just noticed there that it's painted up on the tree. So let's kind of get rid of that. Let's lower my size to quite small, because there's some stuff on the sky, and I think there's a little bit on the sky there. You might be able to hear my PC is running like a frickin' engine right now. Okay, so if I untap that, let's do a quick before, after. Okay, yeah, that's darkened it up just a bit. Let's go back to fit, and yeah, that's a lot better. It's just darkened it up a touch. That was my cat. He cries a lot when he wants to get in or out of rooms constantly. Forgive me, I'm gonna go get my cat out of this room, and I'll be back in 1 sec. And I'm back. Okay, so let's have another look here. Okay, I want to try this radial filter here. I don't know. Oh, is that that's radial filter? Is that radial filter? I feel like it's not. It is. Right. Sorry, my brain is it's fried right now. It's 10 o'clock at night and I've been up for a long time. Okay, so let's play with it. I don't often use this, so I'm not sure how well this is going to work. again, if I just darken up the exposure, basically what the radio filter does is it's basically, instead of, because you don't always put your subject in the middle. That's why a vignette kind of almost doesn't work sometimes, especially with something like this where the focus is kind of on the edge. It's on like the left third, so the vignette kind of seeps into the vehicles here. So I'm gonna try. This is the thing with the radio filter, right? I can never figure out where it originates from. It's like the frickin' circle tool in Photoshop. You drag it that way, and it's like, wait, what? It's really, I don't. Seriously, this is just weird. Okay, I always drag it and then reposition it and reshape it. This is how I end up doing it. Okay, so let's rotate it. I kind of want to increase the size that way, but more that way. Let's see what that looks like before. Whoa, okay, yeah. So that's like crazy darkness. So I'm gonna just darken it just a bit. Okay, so let's do it before and after. Okay, so it just darkens it up, everything else just a bit, just to bring focus down on that. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to, this is always funny, I'm always interested in why anybody would do, like, wait, which way is it? I always forget which way it is. Okay. It's funny when anybody does one thing and it's like, who would do this with the feather? I'd love to meet the person that would like, no, I want a really hard edge on my feather. So let's just bring that back. It just always looks funny, always makes me giggle. I'm going to just increase that feather just a bit, just to make it not that obvious. So let's, yeah, I think. Okay, so I'm going to click close on this, and again, I'm just going to hit F. Just have another look here. I do kind of like the look of it, I must admit. I don't know, if I play with it anymore, I feel like I'm kind of going to be over-processing it. One thing you need to... okay, there we go. One thing I've learnt from the landscape photographer genius, Matt Kloskowski, is check your edges, check your corners. And what I've just noticed there is there's a bit of blue pipe. I was taking the picture on a bridge. I don't know if you saw the vlog or not. I was on a bridge and I had big, thick blue railings, and I had to press my tripod right up against the railings. And as I was repositioning it, obviously a bit of the piping managed to sneak in. You can just see it there. So again, I'm going to use the spot removal tool, and I'm probably actually I don't know if I use clone or heal. If you can tell me what the difference between clone and heal is here in the Lightroom tool, tell me in the comments below, because I'm really not that sure. That's a bad thing to say, and that's a terrible thing to admit, but let's see how it does. I want to never. Never. That's good enough. Let's go back on selected, and I just want to play with it a bit more. Okay. Yeah, that seems fine. I want to just feather it a little bit, just to... That looks fine. So there you go. Anybody else that watches this video... Oh, that kind of looks like a big black blob now, though. I don't know if I like that. I want to go back and edit that again. So let's go 101. Oh, okay, that's actually nicer. It's always good if you actually select the right damn tool. Always. I want to select this. That's funny. The bit that I actually did didn't look like a blob at all. Actually, I'm going to delete because it just looks like a big glob of... yeah, so I'm going to hit backspace. That's a great noise. I love that. It's always a funny noise. So I'm going to lower my brush size a bit here. I'm going to go to heal just to see what that does. I'm just going to paint away. Rather than painting a big blob, I'm just... Whoa! See, this is the weird thing sometimes with this tool. It just goes, I'm going to pick from a random spot. So I'm going to hit backspace. Make that fun noise again. I'm going to go back to clone. It's always good if it actually starts to paint when you ask it to paint. Whoa, where's this coming from? Okay, so I'm going to select this thing and go here. Just to darken it. There you go. That's all I wanted. I didn't want to have a sample from, you know, the middle of the picture. Come on, Lightroom. You're not very smart. Okay, again, full screen it. I kind of feel like I'm playing with it at this point. I could take it into color effects. Should I take into color effects? I don't know. Let's have more play. Actually, let's have a quick scan through presets again. You kind of get some idea for things when you're looking at it. Nah, I'm going to actually increase my shadows a little bit here because it just looks a bit too dark. Yeah, that's kind of helped it a little bit. I was just starting to think it looked a little too dark. And I like my blacks in my picture, but it just was a bit too dark. Okay, I'm getting a black. Well, yeah, everything here is just in black. Actually, I don't mind that. I kind of like it. So I'm going to just lower the shadows just a touch more. Let's play around some more. I wonder if I play with the greens, because I've got tree foliage stuff here and here. I wish I could kind of get rid of that stuff, but that's going to be a massive time, and I don't really want to play with it. So let's, if I increase the greens like crazy saturation, doesn't really do much. Kind of just takes the color away a little bit. I'm going to use the doofer. I don't actually know what the technical word for this is. Oh, that increased the yellow saturation. Oh. Okay, I'm going to play around with this manually because that's really not what I wanted to do. I nearly burped there, I'm sorry. You know, I'm just going to reset these. This is just, I'm almost playing with food at this point. I'm going to play around with the vignettes some more. Just to darken up the edges. I want to bring that mid. Nah, I really don't feel like if I bring that all the way to the right and then I bring it all the way left, just looks about right. I'm kind of playing with it, as I said before. Okay, I'm gonna hit, let's look at the before and after here. I'm gonna just kick this panel away because I don't need it anymore. That's a hell of a difference, isn't it? Wow. It's funny, I always like going to the before and after panel sometimes, simply because it's like, whoa, I didn't realize I did that much to it. It looks really yellow, but actually I kind of like the yellow look to it. I wonder, I've never been in before and after and hit F. Does it? No, it doesn't do anything. That's crap. Oh, wait, whoa. I did something there. There was some sort of delay. No photo selected, and then my photo turns up. Go figure. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to full screening that picture. Oh, that looks nice and big for you guys, doesn't it? So I think I'm kind of done. I'm probably gonna play around a bit more. I'm not sure. Crop looks fine. I don't know if it's tilted or not. It might just be my eye. Let's again hit. Oh, okay, so it did something. It kind of twisted it up. If I go off, and it just goes, but then this thing almost looks irrelevant. I like when it's off because you can actually see kind of a bit more of what it is. You can see their circly things. It really does kind of look Walking Dead-ish, doesn't it? It looks so decrepit. Wow. I apologize for how slow my PC is running right now. This is really weird. It's not normally like this. It's got 16 gigs of RAM in it. It's normally not that slow. Okay, I think I'm done. yeah, I think I'm pretty much done with this. If you see any difference between the picture that I end up putting up, it's probably because I've messed around with it a little bit more. But for the most part, I think I'm kind of done here. So thanks for sticking with me and watching through to the end. If you want to learn more about me, you go to destructivepixels.com. All the links are in the description below for all my social media stuff as well. So if you want to tweet me, like my Facebook page, hit me up on Google+. I like Google+ a lot. Again, I've also got links for my 500px portfolio and my Flickr portfolio as well up there. So if you want to check my stuff out there, you can find my full portfolio there. And okay, I think I'm done. See you guys later.